To quote the Prime Minister, jobs, 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 it's all about jobs. Except when it comes to removing JobKeeper, when Treasury says that policy decision will cost up to 150,000 jobs. I'm Richard Dennis, and this is the Everyday Economist. At the beginning of the COVID crisis, the Morrison government introduced one of the most expensive economic policies in Australian history, the so-called JobKeeper program. JobKeeper was explicitly designed to subsidise businesses to keep their staff on during the COVID crisis. It wasn't perfectly designed, it wasn't very well targeted, but it worked to keep millions of people in their jobs. That's what it was designed to do. Now, as the economy's begun to improve, the number of firms receiving JobKeeper, and in turn the number of workers whose jobs are funded or subsidised by JobKeeper, has been steadily declining. More than 3 million people were on JobKeeper during the peak of the crisis. It's now down to, according to Treasury, around 1.1 million people. JobKeeper is going to come to an end. All of a sudden, all of the firms that have been receiving JobKeeper are going to lose it. And get this, according to Treasury, according to the government's own economic advisors, between 100,000 and up to 150,000 people are going to lose their jobs. Let's just say that again. The government is pulling the pin on JobKeeper, and the government's own economic advisor says there'll be a bump to the unemployment of around or up to 150,000 people. That's not a bump, that's a shoulder charge. It is the most deliberate government policy, and it's going to have the most disastrous economic consequences. To put 150,000 people losing their jobs into perspective, understand that there's only 62,000 people working in the entire coal industry. 150,000 people is more than the population of Darwin. It's the population of Cairns. And in one fell swoop, according to the government's own economic advisor, the Treasury, in one fell swoop, the removal of JobKeeper is going to cost up to 150,000 jobs. Now, for decades we've been told we can't tackle climate change because it might cost jobs. For decades we've been told we have to do all sorts of things because we have to protect jobs. Low wage growth has been justified in order to protect jobs. To quote the Prime Minister, jobs, 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 it's all about jobs. Except when it comes to removing JobKeeper, when Treasury says that policy decision will cost up to 150,000 jobs. Now, there's no need to do this. JobKeeper is not perfectly designed, but as the economy's begun to improve, the number of people on JobKeeper is falling steadily anyway. As I said, from more than 3 million down to 1.1 million now. The government could easily tighten the eligibility criteria. It could make it harder for some businesses to get it. It could insist that Gerry Harvey pays back more than $22 million that he got from JobKeeper, even though the profits of his company have soared. JobKeeper's not perfect. It could be improved, but to bring it to a sudden halt is going to, according to Treasury, deliver more than an MCG's worth of unemployment overnight. Why on earth would the government do that? Well, it started the crisis saying it just wanted to create jobs. It's coming out of the crisis obsessing about the size of the budget deficit, obsessing about the amount of debt. Well, the worst thing for the economy in the long run, the worst thing for the budget in the long run, is to keep piling more and more people into unemployment. So if the government wanted to worry about jobs, 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 it might tweak JobKeeper, but to scrap it is going to have catastrophic effects across regions, across industries, across the entire macroeconomy. There's no need to do it. There's no need to obsess about the budget deficit right now. And next time the government tells you that we can't tackle climate change because it might cost some jobs, just remind them of the time they ended JobKeeper knowing it might cost up to 150,000 jobs. Without doubt, it is the most job-destructive decision ever made in modern Australian politics.